I majorly work into Ruby on Rails, Golang, and React.js predominantly. But other than that, I'm involved into most of the product level development. And this is my Twitter handle. If anyone of you wanted to connect with me. What is beyond the cubicle? Because I am a techie person, still I am here to give a non-tech talk. So it was related to the fact that there are so many aspects of IT industry that are beyond that cubicle, where we are actually working on certain sort of software development and other sort of any sort of discussions and all those things. So I'm here to share my experiences about experiences or learnings, I would say, what I have learned while interning with Joe Software itself. Okay, so firstly, yeah. So what is SimplySmart? So SimplySmart is a product-based company. So we majorly deal with like end-to-end smart metering systems for residential as well as commercial projects, so that water can be properly managed as well as it can be handled properly to reduce its wastage and all those things. So we are we are expanded towards all over India, most popularly in the southern part of India. Yeah. So talking about Joe Software. So why I'm here? So I'm currently working with SimplySmart, but why I'm here to talk about Joe Software? Because I started my journey or a professional journey with Joe Software as a technical intern. So in my last semester, similar to like most of the college students from will do in the next one or two semesters. So Joe Software predominantly works with like most of the service related things from like if you are going ahead with the technology sort of domain, then we are into like diverse sort of technologies ranging from Ruby on Rails, Golang, React.js, React Native, to all the way to all sort of data science and all those things. Okay, so starting with internships. So why I'm here to talk about internship? Because most of the people, like I have seen like out of, I would say like 100 people graduating from any college, there are 80 people who start their professional journey as an intern. And internship is a vital part, because at that time you are allowed to do mistakes, you are allowed a specific time to learn things and then actually start working on it, without even considering fact that, because if you directly join as some sort of software developer as a professional, and at that time there are certain sort of expectations directly ahead of you, and those sort of directly going into the professional way, which might not be that fruitful while growing as a developer. Yeah. So the first point that I want to discuss is open to explore new things. So talking about my own experience. So when I was a student at WC Sangli, I was more into like so most of the people here are also in the same sort of domain, that they're more into Python, as well as I was into C, and most of the machine learning related into research and analysis and all those things. But when I joined JOS, so they suggested me like why don't you try Ruby on Rails to start learning and try to start working on it. At that time I was like, yeah, I have been learning about it like since last 2.5 years about machine learning and all those things, and suddenly these guys are asking me to work in Ruby on Rails. What should I do? Then I asked few seniors within the company, and they said, give it a try. If you don't like it, then that's the other way around. Like we can go ahead and at any day we can shift to machine learning. So I started with Ruby on Rails. Eventually, with time, I got a fond of it, like how easily and efficiently we will able to solve simple problems without even need of machine learning. Because I always believed from college as well that 95% of the real world problem doesn't need actual machine learning sort of solutions to it. You can easily solve most of the problems within the society using simple web and application development. So, and afterwards with time, what happened, there was another incident happened, like we were working on one of the e-learning projects, and there was a new requirement like we should develop our UI in React.js, which is I guess one of the JavaScript framework that he's going to talk about it. So my manager, the current CTO of Josh, he suggested me like, why don't you learn it? You have a time, I will give you a time about it. So he suggested, I was like, yeah, I am a logical person, how can I design UI sort of stuff? So he said that give it a try. If you don't, then we can ask somebody else to develop it. I tried it, we developed it, we launched it. Like, so from that time, I learned React.js as well. With time, when I got associated with SimplySmart, we had one part which was in Golang, and it was handed over to me to manage all completely. And it was, the backend was completely written in Golang, and I was like, if I'm validating somebody's work, so I should know those sort of technologies. I can't just be like, somebody is coming to me, a Golang developer, and saying me, yeah, this works. So I said like, okay, go ahead. And then when client shouts, it will shout to me, not to that person. So I should be the one to responsible. So I started learning that too. But just one key aspect is that while learning these things, I know currently it's a chat GPT era and all most of the people are most of it like LLMs are highly curated. There are new LLMs every day. You are seeing from Instagram to everywhere you are seeing generative AI and generative AI. So one fact is that I actually worked in generative AI within the college itself for my final year project when there was no work related to nobody's talking about generative AI. But with time I got to know that generative AI is some sort of making a developer lazy in certain sort of way. Because when we started learning, our main source for learning was documentations. So currently, if I see some new intern or new joinees that are started learning on certain things, they are like, why should I go for documentations if I can directly get answer from ChatGPT? But with time, if suddenly certain time due to any sort of business circumstances, anything, ChatGPT stop, those sort of people will be like, I don't know how to code because they are so much dependent on that fact. So I would say like be open to explore new things because you can't, you never know because as you all know, Steve Jobs, he suggested one of these talk he said it's hard to connect dots moving forward, but it's easy to connect it backwards. So you can only connect it when you actually tried few things. Like it can be sometimes like within 1 month you got to know that yeah, it's not working, but at least try it out. Then next part, interact with new people. This is my best. This one is my favorite because when I joined Josh, it was like around 100 odd people. So we were with one office within Pune itself. So it was easy to communicate with all the people like from due to the flat hierarchy. So currently also we follow the most of the things is the flat hierarchy. I used to discuss smaller things like even as an intern while discussing my even college level project. I was able to discuss this with even co-founders of Josh. So that was the best thing that happened to me while working with Josh. That I used to learn about the fact that how my single line of code can make that sort of impact while actually when business is actually happening, because you don't know while coding like what sort of impact your single line of code can do. So that sort of insights you can get from somebody who has been in the industry for a longer period. So I used to get those sort of learnings from interacting with new people, and I would say like proudly that currently we are around like 400 plus people, but still I have interacted around like 80% of the people because I love to interact with new people because I get to learn those sort of insights from them. Even you can get from newbie as well, like they have their own way of thinking, own perspectives about thinking. Because there was one funny story when we were giving trainings to one of the new people, those who are interning. So I was giving them trainings related to Ruby on Rails, and he came to me like, why are we working on Ruby on Rails? It's dead. Because if you search, even you guys also, if you search on a Google or something like, what's the future of Ruby? You will get most of the people like, yeah, Ruby is dead. Everybody can use Python and other scripting languages, JS related frameworks. Why do we need Ruby? But I said like, yeah, okay, that's his perspective. So what we did, I asked him to prepare a pros cons sort of stuff, and I also prepared it for Ruby. I said you can prove me that Ruby is going to be dead. I will prove it. It's not going to be dead. So that's the way it happened with the interacting with the new people. Yeah, this one, share your opinion. I would say like bluntly, I have even criticized my co-founders as well in coding actually, not with the business decisions because I'm not experienced in that case. But while coding, I was fortunate to have one of the key person I would say from the Josh who has around like 30 plus years of experience, which is more than my age. So still I contradicted him with most of the topics like why are we using in this fashion? We can do it in easy fashion, easy way. These are the new things that we can use. What happens with this sharing your opinion is that either you get recognized with those people like I'm able to share this sort of insights and I'm able to learn new things to get to know those things. Second thing, either if you're wrong as well, nobody is going to this is not certain sort of exam you are saying like if you're right then you are getting the marks, if you're wrong you are getting a zero or something, or in case of certain sort of competitive exam, negative marking. What will they do? They will just suggest you like in these sort of cases because your answer is never going to be wrong, but it's just the fact that your answer is going to be correct in certain sort of use cases, but in certain sort of additional edge cases that will fall. So they are going to suggest you like in these sort of edge cases your logic will fall, and you can get these sort of learnings only when if you are ready to share your opinions in the industry. Even as an intern also you can be a part of those discussions. At that time you are allowed to make any sort of like wrongdoings, like even if you are these are trivial sort of mistakes, like you are even giving like smaller level mistakes like related to syntactical as well. They are like, okay, this is a new thing to learn and you are making the mistakes, it's fine, make new mistakes. So this has been my kind of a motto since my school, because my mathematics teacher used to say like every year don't repeat those last year's mistakes. On new year he used to say like try to have plan for newer mistakes in this coming year. While working with Josh, I have done some sort of mistakes that I don't think most of the uh, people or in any industry I ever seen people like, if this sort of mistakes happen, you will not be in the position to work any further. Because I will tell you one example, my experience only. Like I was working with one of the e-learning sort of projects, and there was certain sort of school we need to offboard. So that means we need to delete those data and all those things. But what happened? The most prominent or the basic mistake that every most of the developers do, I forgot a condition. So what happened? I deleted some data which is not to be deleted from the production itself. What happened? So when I connected, and it happened on the Friday night, Saturdays and Sundays are off. I messaged my manager like this thing happened. He said, "Have you taken the backup?" I said no. He said, "Why not?" But afterwards, luckily it happened that that backup got taken by the service that we are using for database hosting. And he suggested me like, don't worry, just work on retrieving that data. And when I recovered it, he just suggested, he just asked me 2 3 questions like, what are your learnings out of it? He never said like you have done some sort of this sort of mess out of it. He suggested that you are learning from this, like always take backups whenever you are doing any sort of changes at the production level. And on Monday when I met him, he didn't scold it or any sort of stuff. He said like this sort of things happen, but the fact that you worked on, you recovered that fact within the weekend itself, and he handled the client. I didn't, because he was facing the client. Still, he didn't said anything to me. But that happened because and afterwards when there was some juniors who were working under me, I would say like I was they're reporting one. When they did some sort of mistake, I never made it like why are you making the mistake, because those happens, and that's how we learn, because I learned from my mistakes only. Okay. Then I would say like this is a kind of a cliche one, because it would be like we have been trained to say like try but don't cry. And why is he saying like learn to give up? Because in IT industries, like it's all based upon timings. So you can't just be like I'm going to solve this one even if it takes 2 days, 3 days, 4 days with me. No, because if you try for 1 hour, the same way what you can do, you are going to be missing some sort of cases that are not there in your mind itself. What you can do, you can give up for that moment. I'm not saying like just leave your job and go and take any sort of like, don't be a sannyasi or sort of stuff. I'm just saying like you can, for that moment you can go ahead and give a quick like break or something. So you might have seen like most of the documentaries or certain stuff, they suggest you there are people playing TTs, there are somebody's playing football, somebody's taking coffee breaks and all those things. Why do they need this thing? Because you all know those, all since you are all techie persons, we are doing the coding, you know that sometimes the answers get clicked within the seconds, sometimes it doesn't for a day as well. But you need to accept that fact that if it's not clicking, it's fine, we can try another problem, or in certain fashion what you can do, you can go and reach out to your seniors, you can your peers or something. They have you can get a third person overview out of it, like what sort of solution you can get. I'll tell you one example as well. There is one my own experiences as well, like when we were working for SimplySmart, there was a new intern who joined SimplySmart for certain sort of task, and she was getting frustrated related to certain topics, like it was not happening. And she was like her face was telling like, I'm dead, like this is my internship and I'm not able to solve a simple problem, because that's not going to be converted, because that's the biggest fear a student have, like their internships are not getting converted, right? So she was getting frustrated, and when I discussed with her like what's the issue, she said like I'm not getting any answers and what of it. I said, when was the last time you had a coffee break or a TT break or for playing table tennis or something? She said, I didn't for last 1 day or something. I said, stop your work for 1 hour. Don't be with your laptop. And that was something unexpected to her. Like, why this person is saying like, don't work for 1 hour. Then she accepted, because I was a senior, so she said, okay, I will go. And when she gone to that TT or some sort of coffee breaks, after 1 hour, she got the solution out of it within like 15 to 20 minutes. What happens, like we have been trained to say like try but don't try, right? So what happens, like we are getting frustrated within our own mindset, like we have to solve this one, and the internship, that burden is quite a higher level. So just I would say like learn when to give up and take those breaks, because that small poison does help, because I have been there for like last three and a half years. I'm coding with all those things, and that does help those sort of breaks. Now the next one, a lifelong mentor. I know most of the people say like keep your idols high, right? But what I've been the biggest point or say like learnings out of it, like if you have a lifelong mentor, that helps a lot because whoever is those who are searching on a Google for what sort of career path I choose and whatnot, at each point you have like 100 options to it. So you can see like what sort of how much options you can get from a permutation combinations. So you need somebody to at least some sort of guiding you because at certain point everybody gets frustrated. Like what should I do? What should I do? And within Josh, that was the best. I would say like gain out of it. Like I got a lifelong mentor for me, and who is such sort of mentor? Like ironically, he was my manager like for SimplySmart itself. But when we used to work, he never asked me like how is your work going because that was a daily stand up and all those happening. But whenever we had like monthly meetings related to how I'm growing or what sort of changes happening, he never focused on the fact that what sort of work we are doing because he said I know all those stuff like we are working good and all those things. His main concern was like why I'm not focusing on my own startup ideas. And I would say like that was a very rare sort of thing. Like your manager is uh, pushing you to start your own and work for your own itself and stop working for them. So that was a kind of a different thing. But that lifelong mentor, although he's not currently with Josh, but he's still connected with me and he's guiding me all those cases while managing with SimplySmart as well and while developing my own startup as well. And all those things like from giving talks and all those things, he's always there. And I bluntly say that thing within Josh itself, like people tease me out of that. If he was there and he said jump, I will jump from anywhere. And literally people tease me out of it. Like when he was leaving, he's like everybody's like when you are leaving. I said why? Like he's leaving, so why are you here? Because they are like pair up. They're just making the pair up out of it. Yeah, so that's it. I'm not going to had I didn't had any code out of it. So thank you for listening to me and my experiences. You can visit if you're like to know about like what SimplySmart does. You can visit simplysmart.tech if you want to connect with me related to like any sort of meetups or something because I'm more into like Ruby organizing different sort of meetups as well. I'm into organizing Ruby meetups. We have organized recently we organized React.js meetup as well and Golang meetups as well. Also, do participate in community events because that's where we actually learn those things, interacting with the new people. That was the key part. So you can interact with these sort of techie people or similar mindset people within the meetups and as well as conferences and all those things. Yeah, thank you.